Welcome again to another episode of 26 Letters. Hi, today it's Chris and Margaret with the letters H and I.
Oh, I get it.
Hi.
Hi.
I know.
How cute.
Neat, neat.
Eh.
So, again, just a little recap of what we're doing here. Trying to focus and shift our stinking thinking into resilient-minded living. Again, bad things happen, and we know where we've been. We know how to survive, and our goal is to teach you how to thrive. And part of that is shifting our language. Language and the words that we use all connect to moods, social emotional living and learning, and just how we behave. So today's letters, H and I. Chris, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think the most important thing is resiliency is hope.
Oh, 100%. My number one
period.
H is hope.
And I'm actually working on a curriculum, almost done,
Okay.
called Resiliency is Hope, because what it does, it puts those lens, that magnifying glass, on what's right instead of what's wrong.
Yeah.
And I love when you talk about stinking thinking, because many times we think of words as something we say to other people, but what we say to ourselves matters too.
Oh, 100%.
So that self-talk, that's about hope. If we say to ourselves, move forward just a little bit. You can do this today.
Yeah.
So hope is really, really important, and losing hope is one of the worst things that can happen to a human being.
Well, and I think that, again, if you just take the word hope and we put, F-U-L on the end of it, we're hopeful.
Yep.
That's very,
Full
very
of hope.
resilient and forward thinking, full of hope. And if you put the word less, you got full and less
That's right.
on the end of that word. It takes us to a place that we just don't want to go. And I think that was a huge initial feeling last year when the pandemic was at an all-time, wow, we don't know what to do. We were getting information from 25,000 different sources and all these well-meaning people telling us what we need to do and should do.
And shouldn't.
And shouldn't. And then as we watch systematically our world begin to shut down, I think there was a feeling of hopeless
It's fear.
and driven by fear.
Yes.
And then we saw things start to come out of the woodwork to say, no. Yes, I can't go to the grocery store right now, but I can still go online and pick it up. So we started finding ways to move forward and become hopeful, which is healthy. Another H.
Well, I remember seeing right about that time when it was easy to be fearful.
Oh, totally.
The people in Italy standing on their balconies and singing together at the same time.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
They would just come out, and I'll guarantee you some of those people
But
didn't
if
know each
you
other
said
before.
Italy?
Italy.
It's probably around 5 o'clock and we were hungry.
Okay.
That's probably what we
You
were
were singing for your food.
We were
I didn't even
singing
know
for
it.
dinner.
Lasagna.
Exactly.
Okay,
That's
I
what
can't
that
sing.
was.
So,
Yeah. So I think in
Yeah.
looking at another H that comes to my mind right away, and I think why I'm going to lose the word think. I know one of the things that was the most important for me, no matter what I listened to, and I got to the point where I was overwhelmed by listening because there were so many contradictory things. I wanted honesty. No matter how good or bad it was, just be honest. Because here's what I know. If you give me the facts and you're honest and you possess integrity in what you're speaking, I'll figure it out. We collectively will figure out what we need to do.
Just give me the information.
Just give me the information.
And let me deal with
two
it.
eyes, integrity and information, which go along with this. But if you're honest with me, I can work with that. I can't work on things if I don't have the correct information. And if you're not honest in what you're telling me, how am I supposed to move forward and be resilient in the wake of the unknown? And Brene Brown says it the best, and I love the statement. In the absence of information, we make up our own stories. And I think we saw so much of that in all those things posted on Google.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, there's this project, that project. This has been going on for 20 years. This is not to say it's not true or not. I wasn't there. I don't know. But I do know that in the absence of information and lack of honesty, we're going to make up our own stories. And that's what we we've done and we do. And so for me, a huge H is I need honesty.
Well, and something I learned in the classroom is kids, if you're not honest with them, you have to give them as much information as they can handle.
Yeah, 100%.
What we used to say is they would fill in their own blanks.
Same, yeah, same thing.
Just a simple thing. Parents
Sure.
might be getting ready to move, and they don't tell their kids. And they're just a lot of fear comes up. So tell them what they need to know, when they need to know it, not too soon. But, be emotionally honest with kids, with young people. They're smart enough to, like you said, figure it out.
Well, they are, and I think we don't give our kids, our
No.
young people, credit for knowing more. The old adage, and I remember that. In fact, I can remember my grandmother saying, "Little people have big ears,"
that-
or "Little pictures,
which I
have
never
big
did.
ears."
Yeah.
I didn't get that
Never
either. It was
either.
like little people because
Yeah.
I didn't. No picture I ever had
Corn
or
has
picture.
ears is what we used to hear.
Yeah, has
Mom
ears.
would say, corn has ears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so if we're listening, we're taking it in, isn't
Right.
it better to be honest and say at the level that I need you to be
That
honest?
you need to know.
So, yeah. And I'd much rather that because that invites kids to come to us for information.
Another word that I had on my list, and I will tell you it's not an easy one for
Sure.
most of us, at least for me.
Okay.
The word is humility.
Oh, it's on mine
Is
here.
it?
Look.
Okay.
Humility.
Well,
right
that's
there.
hard because humility means understanding that you made a mistake or that you said something wrong or did something wrong, and it goes with the F, which is forgiveness and all that.
Ah,
and
yeah.
grace.
Okay,
Giving
okay.
yourself grace. Quickly, though, I had a student who came out of the office of a principal who was a yeller.
Okay.
In fact, they called him an old yeller. The kids did. I'm
That's
sorry.
the old yeller.
But he was yelling.
Oh.
And he sat down, and this kid was so great because he didn't yell back. And he said, I'll tell you what, Mrs. Heyman, that guy needs a big dose of jambalaya.
Humble.
Jambalaya.
I love that word.
Which goes
Jambalaya.
with humor.
Yeah.
What could be better than needing a big dose of jambalaya?
Jambalaya. I love it.
So I thought, man, you're 15, but you're really smart.
Yeah. And two more H's for me. Harmony.
Oh, yeah.
I think we need harmony in our lives, which for me is just things going together and balanced. But my number one H for me, I think it's who I am, is humor.
I knew it. Look,
It is.
Look,
I know.
look, I have it even written
It is.
down.
It's humor. I have to laugh, and I have to, and I know when to laugh. I mean, I'm not gonna,
Sometimes.
Well, sometimes.
That's the fun of it.
It is. But
Is this really funny? Yep.
well, yep, it is to me, and so
it's the
I gotta
best.
laugh. I
You
mean,
have to.
And again, when you think about how you feel when you're done with a good laugh session, it's wow. It can be draining, but so uplifting at the same time. So my life is full of humor, but I think a lot of times I make humor, and I want to say about humor too is it goes back to a couple episodes back when we talked about defenses. A lot of times for our folks, for our young people especially, in the face of what they would perceive as danger or consequences,
They laugh.
they laugh. Humor is their go-to. It's
It
like,
really
oh
is.
God, I'm about to be, whatever.
Right.
And yeah,
To
it's,
understand that it's a defense.
Right.
Because we tend to take it personally.
but I think it goes along with the H we're talking about. They'd rather laugh than be humiliated.
Absolutely.
They'd rather laugh than be
Yes,
humiliated. And
yes.
quite frankly, as an adult, I would too.
I would too.
I'd rather laugh than be humiliated. And I've been at both. So yeah, humor for
That's a
me is
good
a
one.
biggie. Yeah.
Well, one more, and this could be, we could do this as an hour, but people work, and I heard one of my mentors said it, I love it, people work is heart work.
Oh,
And I think
yeah.
everything we've talked about, if you think of a resiliency-minded life, comes with connecting with other people, heart to heart. This is being a human. Oh, that's an H.
Human.
A human. And every time we talk, we train, Margaret says that. She says, sometimes all we have to do with other people is be human.
That's it.
And we didn't even have it on our list
No,
because
we
it's so
didn't.
much part of what we talk
No.
about. And, what would I want in the same situation? So that being human and feeling the connection of the heart will really bring the best out in all of us.
Well, and I think going along, again, as we're talking, this is not on my list, but you just said it. What do we want? Sometimes we want to be heard.
Yes,
Another
H is
H. We
heard.
just want to be heard. I don't need you to fix anything. An F from a last thing. I just need to be heard. And I think that's some of the problem when we get into communications. And I can say, working in marriage and family therapy years ago, you would hear couples say, he just can't listen. He
Or
doesn't
he's not
hear me.
listening.
He
Yeah.
wants to. And I say he because by nature,
Yep, don't say it.
no,
But we know.
But men are fixers.
Yeah.
And they want to. I'm telling you that I need to fix it. No. I just need you to hear me. And I think there's been a lot of that in the last years. Everybody just needs to be heard. We all had different fears. We all had different things. I just need you to hear me. I don't necessarily need you to do anything. I just need you to hear me. So again, when you said, what do
That's
humans
true.
need? We sometimes just need to be heard
I had a
and held.
Oh,
Held.
yeah. And
Comfort.
when the time is right, comfort. I
Correct.
had a colleague in Houston that used to say to her husband when she didn't feel heard, life is not a 30-minute sitcom. I need you to hear what I'm saying.
There you go.
So think about
Absolutely.
it. Solution-based. And not
Ve-
everybody
yeah,
is. Fix it.
Yeah. And it goes right along with, as we're talking again, looking at our time, if we add our few I's
Oh,
in there with the
We're
H's,
going with I's. Okay.
Independence.
I have independence.
I have independence too. And above all, now this is huge for me, and I know, it was a family value growing up, the way that I grew up, Catholic Italian and in a large family. It also then became a military value for my 23 plus years and has continued to be, and that's integrity.
Oh, gosh.
We don't have too much in life that we can take with us everywhere we go, but integrity is one of them. And if you are a person of your word and you possess integrity, and people know if you say it, you've done it. Yep, I possess integrity, which for me means if I said it to you, Chris, in front of you, I'm going to say it to you again, Chris, in front of the Pope. That's not going to change for me. My word means a lot. So for me, I want to be near you if you possess integrity, because I know that I can then trust you because you're honest.
Well, and integrity, it really comes from like the word integrate or integer.
Bring in,
it
yes.
fits.
It
That
fits,
what
F.
you say,
Yeah.
what you say fits with what you do.
100%.
And so people will judge that very fast if something is said to them and not done right or with good intention.
Right.
Intention.
And there's another I.
Intention is another one. And sometimes intention is what we need to look at so we don't get upset with somebody. What was the intention of this? Well,
Right.
it was a good intention. It may not have had a good outcome.
Absolutely.
So maybe that fits with grace and
Right.
humbalaya.
Humbalaya. Well, and I think it goes along the opposite is, and we saw a lot of this, was the unintentionality of things. Things that were said, and it was like it was unintentional. That's not how it was meant, but it occurred.
But yeah.
And I think that it goes along then too with initiative, which we saw a
Yep.
lot of in
Yes.
the last year and a half, the initiatives that came out of the woodwork. But again, out of the ashes. And these were not great things, but initiatives came out of being forced to look at what wasn't working. Growth and initiative came.
Well, something you started with was getting stuck. I don't remember
Oh, yeah,
which
yeah, when
letter,
we
but getting stuck. And initiative literally means to do something, to initiate, to start, to
Right.
move forward.
Right.
And, the opposite of that is being stuck, not knowing what to do, where to go, who to talk to. So every decision you make that's moving you out of the muck is
Yeah.
taking initiative. And sometimes they're little steps.
Right.
But they can be real big too.
Well,
So initiative is, by the way, one of the 7 or 8 resiliencies that have been identified in the research is very important. So is insight.
Oh, my
Being
God,
able
yeah.
to see, to look at something and really understand the deeper meaning, to
Right.
look beyond what you see and be able to kind of decide what, why, what was meant. Insight is huge.
Insight is huge, and I think so is, again, not overlooking, but we saw a lot with initiative is inclusivity.
Oh, yes.
Including the masses, bringing in the many, because we may have a great idea, but it's a great idea right here. Idea, another I. We might have a good idea from where we're sitting, but if we decide we're going to make a plan, We need to involve everybody and include everybody that could be a part of that plan.
Well, and Margaret, we know from our work within the community, one of the most important things we do is invite.
Oh, we absolutely invite.
You know, it's our intention, to invite people to collaborate.
But what a great feeling it is to be invited.
Yes,
Because what
yes.
does that put for you? If I invite you, what message does that give you?
Right. But
I
and
have
we have
some
had
value.
people, we've had people that weren't invited maybe in one of our groups, but they have taken the initiative
Correct.
to call and say, I'd like to be a part of this. And have
Absolutely.
and what do we say?
You're invited.
in.
You're in.
You know,
Here, let it give us your
absolutely.
email address.
So, lots of really, really positive words today to kind of keep us buoyed with resiliency.
Yep.
And moving forward and understanding that life is, well, as my cousin said, one half day at a time.
That's exactly right.
And I love that. I think that's an essential mantra.
100%. Well, Chris, as always, I love sitting here and going back and forth with words and communication and resilient-minded living with you. Again, looking at our time, we appreciate you, our listening audience. We hope that you are gaining something. We hope that it's sparking words within your own vocabulary. And as always, be safe and healthy, and we will see you next time when we tackle J and K.
And you can invite us back. How's that?
Absolutely.
How's that?
And have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.